A top official in the US is confident a Gaza ceasefire deal will be in place before Donald Trump takes office as president. Discussions have been ongoing between Qatari mediators and a senior Israeli delegation for several days in Doha. Details are now emerging, with Israeli media reporting that a prisoner exchange deal will be implemented in 3 stages. US President Joe Biden is due to make a foreign policy speech in around an hour's time, but his national security advisor says a deal is close.
President Biden sent Brett McGurk out to Qatar more than a week ago. He has been camped out in Doha, day in, day out, 24 hours a day, working to tighten up these details and try to get this done. We have also coordinated very closely with the incoming administration to present a united message to all the parties, which says it is in the American national security interest, regardless of party, regardless of outgoing or incoming administration, to get this deal done as fast as possible. And now we think those details are on the brink of being fully hammered out, and the parties are right on the cusp of being able to close this deal. Whether or not we go from where we are now to actually closing it, the hours and days ahead will tell. But I believe it is there for the taking, and we're going to do everything we can to push it to get it across the line.
Well, President Joe Biden spoke today with Emir Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani of Qatar. In a statement, the White House said the 2 leaders discussed the negotiations in Doha for a ceasefire and hostage release deal based on the May 27, 2024 arrangements described by the president last year and endorsed unanimously by the UN Security Council. Both leaders emphasised the urgent need for a deal to be implemented to return the hostages to their families and bring immediate relief to the people of Gaza through a surge in humanitarian aid enabled by the ceasefire and called for in the deal. Well, both leaders agreed to remain in close coordination directly and through their teams at this critical point in the negotiations. Well, we have correspondents across these developments on the story in Gaza, Amman, as well as Washington, D.C. Well, first, we're going to start there with our White House correspondent, Kimberly Halkett. Kimberly, can you just give us a sense of what else the White House National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan, said in regards to a potential deal that is being hashed out as we speak?
Jake Sullivan saying that the belief of the Biden administration is that there is a very strong possibility that this is something that can be achieved in terms of a ceasefire in the coming days. It is something that has been eluding this administration and has been a goal for the president, Joe Biden, before he leaves office. There have been many hopeful signs, and then only to see those signs evaporate. And so this is something that the Biden administration believes this time can be hopeful for a number of reasons. The reasons being that the Israeli military believes that they have achieved some military success in terms of goals. Not only has Hamas's leadership been weakened, but also there has been significant military pressure on Hamas. And also there is this belief that they are going in the right direction, that they have achieved some of those goals that they had been trying to do. So as we have heard from the National Security Advisor, they believe that they are close to a deal, that they can get it done. The Middle East special envoy that has been there, Brett McGurk, has been camping out in the last week. The National Security Advisor says he spoke to him in just the last couple of hours. And while he says he's not making a promise or a prediction, he says there is a deal there for the taking, and they are going to work to try and make it happen.
OK, thank you so much, Kimberly. Kimberly Halkett, our White House correspondent there. We're going to go now to Hamda Salut. She joins us from Jordan's capital, Amman, because Israel has banned Al Jazeera from operating in the country. And it appears that there is real momentum that a deal could soon be reached. What is being said in Israel?
Well, there is real momentum that a deal could be reached, but there's still a lot of cautious optimism, and that's because of previous statements made by Benjamin Netanyahu that even if a ceasefire deal is secured, he wants the war to continue no matter how long that pause in the fighting is secured for. But nonetheless, Israeli officials from the very top have said that they are ready for a deal, saying that they have laid all of their cards on the table, but there have been several non-negotiables and sticking points, which is why these talks have largely been at a stalemate for more than a year. Israeli officials have said that they have dispatched the top negotiators, all three of them, who have not traveled together since August of 2024. So Benjamin Netanyahu said that this time he means business, but it's still unclear exactly what the Israelis are willing to give up this time around.
OK, thank you so much for that, Hamda. Hamda, salute for us there in Amman, because Israel has banned Al Jazeera from operating in the country. OK, we're going to bring in Hani Mahmoud, who is in Deir al-Balah in central Gaza. And there's been plenty of talk of a ceasefire deal being closer than in many, many, many months. How is that being received on the ground there? I know dozens of people have been killed in Israeli attacks today.
Well, Tom, definitely mixed feelings right now. People are still expressing their cautious optimism about anything going forward or progressing in the coming hours or the coming days. And this is because in the past times they've been laid down so many times to the point now they are really worried about expressing any sort of happiness or celebration, despite the fact we're seeing some people are coming out of their tents, but they're coming out and asking a question: is this going to happen this time? Is this real? Are we not going to be let down again? Particularly after a very violent and a bloody day. Just as we prepared for this segment, once again an attack in Gaza, still leaving 6 people killed and many still under the rubble of the bombed home. This has been happening over and over within the past 12 hours, with more than 33 people have been killed. Now, they are keeping an ear and an eye on the progress of the talks from Doha about a potential ceasefire. But again, they're also keeping an ear on where is the next bomb is going to fall. Are they going to be safe or not? Now, it has been largely safe in the central area and quiet throughout the day. Not safe, but rather quiet. There are no attacks apart from the heavy artillery in the eastern part of the Gaza Strip here in Deir al-Balah and al-refugee camp. But Gaza City has endured the majority of the attacks and the reports of many of the built of fires around the city and within areas that most of the displaced population have been concentrated. And it has been definitely, as of this moment, very, very cautious, and it has to do with what happened in the past. Again, many people expressed as they approach us here, there is no deal without a deal being announced.
Indeed, because over the last several months, there has been a lot of talk about a deal being almost done. Clearly hasn't got over the line at this point. Can you just give us a sense of the strikes that have happened over the last 12 hours or so? Because I believe more than 30 people have been killed by Israeli airstrikes today.
Well, the majority of the strikes, particularly we're talking about the drone strikes and significant surge in the drone strikes throughout the day, mainly in Gaza City. Al-Jala Road, this is one of the major roads in the center of Gaza City, connecting Gaza City with the northern part of the Strip. It takes you directly to Jabalia town, and from there you can get into Jabalia refugee camp. But 2 attacks being carried out in that area, more to the eastern part, a very densely populated neighborhood where the majority of people from Shujaiya have been displaced into this particular neighborhood, where another drone attack targeting a group of people in the street. Also at the backyard of Al-Ahli Hospital, there is a church located in that area, and many of the displaced people have been sheltering inside this church for the past months. 2 people reported killed in the attack, and many were in critical conditions. All in Al-Ahli Hospital have been transferred. But what we're looking at now is a group of any potential gathering of people is being targeted deliberately by the Israeli military. So it's not just the residential buildings, the public facilities of people in cars, but now people in the streets or gathering in a group or simply on their way either to get water or to get food. As what happened earlier today, our team member happened to be doing field work when a drone strike happened just a few feet away from the point he was reporting from. These are the sort of unpredictable attacks, and it's believed to be this more of last-minute unfinished business by the Israeli military, and we're expecting to see more of this happening. That's why people are very cautious about taking the streets now and show any sort of celebration, because there is nothing guaranteed, and there is definitely a sense of worry and concern that the attacks in the coming hours are going to be increasing exponentially.
Thank you so much for giving us a sense of how people are feeling there right now. That's Hani Mahmoud and Dea Al-Bala for us in central Gaza.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.